Welcome back, friends and colleagues, to another Game Boy related video. Today we're talking about GB Studio 4.3, which has just been released, and I'm going to go over the changes and show you through some epic new features. But let's keep it simple by reminding you, what is GB Studio? It's a drag and drop game engine that lets you make Game Boy games. It's open source. So this is the itch page, and as you can see, it has the new music editor built in, which I talked about in a previous video, where you can now make music in your browser for GB Studio. That allows MIDI input as well. That was a great change. Another thing they've done is the ability to add and place notes in the world view. So I'll show you that quickly. If you right click on the background and press add note, you can add a note and you can name it new remember. We can add something like remember to comment your code. Bingo. So this will be great for making sure that we know what we're doing when we come back to a project after a long time. Another thing on here is the fact that plugin authors now have more ways to prevent plugin clashes. I think as well they have a thing that you can order. You can put like the order in which the plugins work, if that makes sense, which might also stop bad things from happening. Not that I've ever really experienced any bad things happening in plugins, but I guess it's a good thing to have. The thing I really want to talk about in this video is this data lookup table. I have been realizing that we needed this for a while now, and it's not perfect, but I will talk you through why I don't think it's not perfect and why it's so good even though it's not perfect. Okay, so stay tuned for that. I will make the most of this video about that. Super Game Boy games can now use the Set Super GB Color Area event to show up to 4 color palettes on screen at once. I have never tried anything to do with the Super Game Boy Color Area, so if you have, let me know in the comments below if this is useful. I'm sure it's just makes Super Game Boy games look better than they did before. I'm sure that's what it is. Ukrainian localization and lots of bug fixes. We love a bug fix. So I looked through the changelog on here, and most of the fixes and changes and updates are to do with the music editor, which I've already made a video about, but now it's actually built into GB Studio again. And so I'm going to talk to you about the data lookup table. This is the most valuable thing they've added that we didn't already know about. So let's take a look at GB Studio. I have a new scene right here. I've made it so the scene starts here. I have got this data lookup table right here in front of us, and I've set one up to see how it works. I'm going to show you how I'd use it and also why I don't think it's perfect, but how they could probably make it even better with just adding a simple thing. But I'll get to it. So the idea of a data lookup table is that it holds data that we can look up. But if you see here, I've named the table testing, and I've got 2 columns here, max health and max damage. And the reason why I'm using max damage and not like current damage is because we can't use variables in this thing. It can only use numbers and constants, which is such a shame. If it was able to use variables in here, this would be so valuable to me in my 3v3 RPG battle template game I'm making, but it's not. So we have to stick with what we're given. The idea is that each character here along the left has different max stats, right? And it means at the beginning of the game we can set, depending on which character they choose, right? We can set their values here. So when the scene is initiated, it initially fades in, and then we have display dialogue, and it pops up and it's displaying our character, our max health, and our max damage. Our character is just held in the local 0. Our max health is max health, and the max damage is max damage. And they will be 0. We are not setting these values before this. But if we press any button, this is the attach script to button, or attach button to script, whatever, we see that it will bring up a menu, and it's asking us what character you do want, right? So we're using this local 0. So we will then set it to 1, 2, 3, or 4. And then we use our data lookup table, and we're using the value we've just chosen in the display menu. And so you can see here on the left, it has 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the idea is that each of them is character 1, 2, 3, 4. And alongside them in the data table is their values. So the max health here is 8 and the max damage is 4. And each of them is different. So what's happening is we're choosing the index variable from the menu. We're putting it through this data lookup table right here. And then let's say we chose character 1. It will set max health to what the data table says. So max health will be set to 8 and max damage will be set to 4. Let's press play and prove that to you. So we just the scene is just initiated. It's loaded like it said it would do here, where we've got 0, 0, 0. Like I said, we haven't set any variables yet. And then if we do nothing, we can now press a key, and then it's asking us, what do we want? Character 1, 2, 3, or 4? So let's say we choose character 1. Character 1, max health 8, max damage 4. Let's have a look at the table. So I've just made the table a bit bigger so you can see a bit better. You can see character 1 says 8 and 4, which is exactly what it says. And then let's see it change by pulling it up again. Let's see character 2 is 6 and 6. There we go. Character 2 is 6 and 6. And character 3, 4 and 3. Bingo. Character 4 is 10 and 5. And to show it's not just going, you know, in order, let's do character 2 again. 6 and 6. That's true. And character 1, 8 and 4. Bingo. So this is how you use a data lookup table. You basically set the value you want to find on the left. And the idea is you're updating the variables that you put at the top column. And when I said at the beginning that there was this one thing that I didn't like about this data lookup table is simply that we can't use variables in this bit here. If we could use variables in here, it would be a game changer for me personally in the project I'm working on. However, this will still be extremely useful for me because we can simply use this to store data in our games. So I'll quickly show you around the music editor as well. They have done quite a good few things here that make it better for us. Obviously, we now have MIDI control. So if we plug in our MIDI keyboard, we can use our MIDI keyboard. But also, you can drag these patterns around at the bottom. You can literally move them to be in different places, which I didn't think we could do before. We can also see the length of notes. If I try this, you can see that highlighted is like how long the note goes on for, which is wonderful. I think as well in the sub pattern, we see it as as like events, which I personally didn't mind how it was before because I am used to the like the tracker version like this. But I understand that they want to make a consistent style with the whole of GB Studio, which is fine. And yeah, if you haven't used the web version of GB Studio yet, you can check out my video on that. They have literally made even more changes since that video, but they're all like little quality of life things, like that note length thing. But yeah, GB Studio is in its prime right now. It's beautiful. Everything they add is doing great. So I appreciate you joining me for this quick update video. It literally came out yesterday, I think. And so go and check it out if you haven't already. And on that note, I'll put my patrons up on the screen. Thank you so much to you guys. You guys are the absolute best. Remember to like the video if you like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know what you thought of this video and what you want to see in the next one. And I'll see you then. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.